And there we are. We are live. Welcome to Covers NHL Puck Props with Jingles and Coco. As you can tell, I am not Josh Ingles. I'm Covers Senior Publishing Editor Jared Hockman filling in for Josh today. I think he's off celebrating with like his big fancy softball team or something like that.
Yeah, big softball guy. Yeah,
exactly. So we're gonna pick up the slack.
People make fun of the Swifties. Well, he's a softie, is what he is.
And as you can see, we still have the man though that nobody can fill in for. That is 14-year NHL veteran Carlo Colaiacovo. Coco, we've got our first full Saturday of hockey, hockey night in Canada of the season. Got to ask you, you've played 14 years. What's your favorite hockey night in Canada memory from your career?
Well, it's always going back to my Leaf years when, you opened up on a Saturday night against the Montreal Canadiens because, you know the rivalry in the fan base. You feel the energy in the building. It's obviously different when you play in Montreal on Saturday night because it's one of the most electric places to play. But when you play at home in Toronto, it's the mecca of hockey, right? You get in and getting all the center of attention. You feel the electricity in the building. Your adrenaline's pumping, and you're just rare to go, especially the first Saturday of the season. Everybody knows Saturdays are for hockey, right? And tonight, full slate, first Saturday of the season, the boys are going to be raring to go. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I'll tell you one team that should be raring to go is the Edmonton Oilers. Getting absolutely drubbed in the season opener against Vancouver. They get to play them again, except this time in Edmonton. So the Oilers are minus 210 in the money line. Total is a flat 7, juice to the under. But Coco, we're kind of looking at the Oilers in the first period puck line at plus 115. Like I said, they took a bad beating. Defense looked awful. But, you saw some comments about the fact that Matthias Ekholm didn't play. He's expected to be back tonight. That's kind of a big boost for them. But listen, you lose 8-1 anytime. It's awful. But in the season opener, when everyone's watching, things get magnified. It really stings. Now they get to turn around, play the same team again, get a crack of revenge. What did you see out of that first game? And what do you kind of expect to see tonight out of the Oilers?
Well, a lot of shock is what I saw to that first game. I mean, to think that the first game of the season is where you get your lunch handed to you, especially a team like the Oilers, where most people like myself predict, could win the Stanley Cup this year. Surprising result, surprising game, surprising result. And I actually didn't know that Edmonton played Vancouver until, I looked at the board this morning. And for Edmonton, this couldn't be the more appropriate matchup for them, because not only do you get to redeem yourself at home after getting embarrassed on opening night, but you get to do it against a team that did it to you in the Vancouver Canucks. So I'm with you. I don't like laying a lot of juice on big money lines. The money line on the Edmonton Oilers right now is too high, but a very favorable spot here looking at them in the first period, because this is the period you expect to see them come out with the most energy and have the biggest response, because the last 2 days has been a bad taste in that team's mouth. I mean, with the video they probably had to watch, with the emotions and just the pride, the lack of pride these guys have had to walk into the dressing room in the next day. Now, good teams don't overreact to losses, especially ones like this, but hockey players are full of a lot of pride, and definitely for Edmonton, they knew maybe that's a good thing for them, because they cruised through the preseason, got slapped in game one, and this is a good wake-up call for them to say, all right, things are for real right now, and they have too good of players for them not to, have a good bounce back. So value here on the first period. I like this. I like this play a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. You said they got a ton of great players. Obviously, no one better than Connor McDavid. But listen, he's minus 175 for 2 points. That's way too much. Even Draisaitl's like minus 115 for 2 points. But we do have a prop we like, which is Conor Brown to get a point at even money. Listen, he's skating on the top line with Connor McDavid. Anytime we can get exposure to McDavid at plus money, we have to take it. Yeah. Especially, when you see a guy that's kind of proven he can hang in a top 6 like Brown, right?
Mm-hmm. No, and this is another good value play for sure, because to me, like, I'm in a fantasy hockey league, and Conor Brown was one of my sleeper picks this year, my under the radar picks, because he's a guy that has a lot of familiarity playing with Connor McDavid going back to his junior years, right? In Erie of the OHL, put up multiple 100-point seasons playing alongside him. Unfortunately for Conor Brown, was an injury-riddled season last year, missed most of the season. And so for him to pick where he wanted to play this year, he wanted to play alongside McDavid in Edmonton, a team that's going to be really good. a player that he's familiar playing with. And the good thing about Conor Brown, he's that lunch pail type of player, right? He's a guy that's going to go into the dirty areas, going to get to the front of the net, and he's very capable of making good plays too. So when you're playing him with McDavid, you got to do one of two things: go to the net with your stick on the ice, or when you get the puck, find McDavid on the ice. And I think for Conor Brown, he's a very, very smart player. I think he's going to know what it takes to play the guy like McDavid. And if we all expect Edmonton to bounce back, like we just talked about, you got to expect plenty of goals. And for Conor Brown, playing with Connor McDavid, not just on the top line, but probably going to get PP2 time too. You got to like the value here for him to get on the score sheet. He better for my fantasy team.
I mean, there's not much value to be found in a lot of those Oilers players because they're all so juicy. You can find a plus money and we'll take it. We're going to move on. We're going to go to an all-U.S. matchup from the New York Rangers against the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Rangers are heavy -200 money line favorites on the road. Total 6.5 shaded the over. Coco, we kind of talked about a little this before this show. You're not a big fan of the Rangers overall. It's a tough spot, but we do kind of like the prop on Philip Hedl over 2.5 shots on goal, which is at plus 105. He had 3 shots in the first game against the Sabres. He's centering that second line between Panarin and Lafreniere, the two kind of pass-first players. And against the Columbus team, they just gave up 37 shots to the Flyers. There's a little bit of opportunity there for Hedl. You know, he's kind of gotten better every year. How high do you think he can go, and what do you see out of the Rangers so far?
Yeah, look, definitely Rangers were a team that I expected to be a middle-of-the-pack team. Very surprising exit in the playoffs last year. Didn't really do much in the offseason. Other than change their coach. And sometimes that's, what teams, rely on for just a change. Is just a change in philosophy, a change in structure. And Peter Laviolette brings that into New York. I'm really high on the Sabres this year, and I did not expect the Rangers to get that result in Buffalo last night or 2 nights ago. So credit to them. But I like I mentioned with the Oilers, I don't like laying, heavy money lines, and being on the road in Columbus. Columbus, you look at this as their second straight home game. Can you really envision them going 0-2 to start the season on the home? And for the Rangers, big win in Buffalo, this kind of looks like a letdown spot for them. So I don't really want to try to pick one side or the other, but Hedl is a good option here at plus money over 2.5 shots on goal, because Werenski's not going to be playing for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So that's a hole on defense. They already gave up a ton of shots to a team like Philadelphia that isn't an offensively, powerhouse type of team. This could be a Rangers game, but if anything, let's go on the safer side here and just expect that there's going to be a lot of offense being played in the Columbus defensive zone, and focus on the shot market. And Cheadle, second line centerman, playing with Panarin. I mean, he's going to get his opportunity. He's going to get PP time too. So good value to be found here with Hedl on the shot market.
Yeah, and you noted on Laviolette now taking over for the Rangers. One of the big things that the New York Post brought out is that they switched their neutral zone from 1-2-2 to 1-3-1 to get some more turnovers, try to get in transition a little better. So again, high offense game, we can kind of see that. But we're getting a little bit weary of a letdown spot, which leads us into our third game, which is another potential letdown spot, in the Calgary Flames against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penguins are a slight -115 favorite. Totals also 6.5, leaning to the over. Listen, but we're looking actually at Calgary to score a bunch of goals. Their team total over 3.5. Penguins laid a whipping on the Capitals yesterday. But again, this is a back-to-back tonight. They just went from facing a bitter division rival to now a non-conference matchup. And after Tristan Jarry got a shutout, we're probably going to see Alex Nedeljkovic in that's in the backup, who's not nearly as good. Coco, you're a big fan of the Flames. You like them coming in. What they got past the Jets on Wednesday, looked all right. What did you see in that game? Did they meet your expectations? And what do you think is going to go here tonight?
Well, I got to give Winnipeg a lot of credit in that game that they played against Calgary in open night, because they made it a lot harder for Calgary, and it took some time for Calgary to get rolling. But ultimately, when they did get rolling, you saw what happened. They put up 5 goals. Their top players found the score sheet and ended up getting the win in Huska's debut behind the bench. Like you said, I'm really high on Calgary. I think the new coach bump, a fresh start for a lot of those top players will bode well for them, for a team that lost 24 one-goal games last year. And you just wonder if 1 or 2 of the 3 of those games would have went a different way. They could have been a playoff team last year. So they have a good team. They have good players. And I think you're going to see them surprise a lot of teams this year, with their effort and with their play. I have them pegged as a playoff team. But I like their offense. You got to think that Jonathan Huberdeau is going to, bounce back to what we saw 2 years ago from him than what we saw last year from him. And if that happens, everybody else in the offense, could benefit from it. And so they scored 5 against Hellebuck. They're playing in a backup goalie situation against Pittsburgh that's in a back-to-back. And look, Pittsburgh's a team that I had high expectations for this year because I think the way they've built their team is really unique. They've gone with an aging core, but they've got some really good players. And, if they stabilize their defense a little bit with some of the signings, if they get better goaltending, I trust that core can still get stuff done. But they gave up 4 goals to Chicago in game one.
Period.
Right? In a period. So, you got to like the upside here of goals being scored in this game. And Calgary is one of those teams that can score them. They were a very good road team last year. They got off to quick starts on the road. And I don't see why things could be any different in this game that we're looking at right now.
Absolutely. And, if we're going to expecting goals, one of the plays we were kind of hoping for was an Andrew Mangiapane point. It wasn't available on the board right now, but we did find one that you love, I love too, and that is Rasmus Andersson to get a power play point at plus 425. Again, these odds are at Sports Interaction. So this just doesn't make sense. He's the QB1 for that power play.
Right.
Like, he was tied among the lead for returning Flames with 21 power play points last year. Penguins were a middling penalty kill team. Like, I look at Huberdeau's plus 230, Kadri plus 325, and Anderson's plus 425, the same price as Noah Hannafin. Does this just seem off for a guy that's an established offensive piece and a solid contributor?
Yeah, it does. I mean, these are very valuable prices on PPs for a Calgary team that can throw out a very good power play out there. I mean, you're talking about a power play one defenseman quarterback at plus 425. I mean, does Pittsburgh have like the best penalty kill in the league? I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I know they're coming off a shutout from yesterday's game, shutting out, Backstrom and Ovechkin and that crew on the power play, but it's a lot to ask 2 days in a row, 2 nights in a row, and especially against a team that's offensively, talented as the Calgary Flames are. So I love the value here for plus 425 for Andersson, because not only is he the PP1, he's a shot threat on the power play. And so if those shots aren't going in, maybe look at a rebound or two that he could, sneak in an assist on. So it definitely, a play that I'm going to be very, very high on tonight.
Yeah, and like you said, with Nedeljkovic in instead of Jari, Nedeljkovic wasn't very good on the penalty kill last year. It was like 87th and goal save above the average when short-handed. Right. So, having that downgrade from Jari to him also really kind of helps bolster this play. So, so let's go for the Flames, score a bunch of goals. Andersson to contribute on the power play point. And we have one more play. Jingles mentioned this yesterday. He likes starting to do these 1.5 shot parlays. So I'm going to try and carry it. Dawson Mercer let us down yesterday. We're going to avenge that with a winner. Yeah. Looking at a couple of Ryans. So Chicago's Ryan Donato over 1.5 shots on goal. He had 4 shots and 3 shots in his 2 games. He's on Connor Bedard's wing. And then Ryan O'Reilly, the veteran for the Nashville Predators, he also has 7 shots in 2 games. Top line, PP1. You can get this at plus 139 parlay at Sports Interaction. I mean, listen, it sounds like these are little bunnies that we need to kind of take. Like you said yesterday, guys should be able to get shots, but we feel good about this one today.
Yeah, like this is surprising to me. These are both first-line players with 1.5 shot totals. There has to be an adjustment sometime, with these shot totals, because, Ryan Donato right now, Taylor Hall's out for the extended period of time. So him and Bedard got to carry that top line on offense. And Ryan O'Reilly, like 1.5 shot total, like this guy's the center iceman on the Nashville Predators, PP1. The way I explained it yesterday is any top 6 forward, you have to at least expect 1 shot from those guys a game. And now you're just hoping for a bonus shot anywhere else, right? So I know we didn't hit yesterday with Mercer, which was a surprise, but this one almost seems too good to be true for me. Yeah, 2 top line players at 1.5. So,
and we're facing the Habs give up a bushel of shots. Right? They give a ton of shots to the Leafs. Bruins are a tough matchup, but again, veteran center, PP1, probably in that dirty area. Good chance there. So again, we'll try to get that in the win column, and
nice. I love it.
We can finish going to the weekend with a nice play. So that's it. Those are our picks. We're going to recap them first. So it's Oilers first period puck line and Conor Brown to get a point. Philip Hedl over 2.5 shots on goal. The Flames team total over 3.5 goals, and Rasmus Andersson to get a power play point. And then the too good to be true Ryan Donato, Ryan O'Reilly 1.5 shot parlay. All those odds available at Sports Interaction. thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Jingles will be back on Wednesday along with you, Coco, at 10 a.m. to do this live. Till then, good luck with your bets and enjoy Hockey Night in Canada.
You got it. Happy Saturday.